Hello! In this video, I'm happy to be trying out Copilot for Power Apps and actually wanted to give it a go to see what would happen if I try to create my app and my table using the newly infused AI. So I hope you can see this screen here. This is on the home page if you're trying out the newest version of Power Apps, and you can give this a go yourself. So it says here, let's build an app. What should it do? So basically, I'm just going to, in natural language, tell Power Apps what I'd like it to do. All right, so I just got a message from my manager who said, we've got 10 bikes that we're going to use for our offsite, but we want to manage the borrowing and the returning of those bikes to make sure we get them all back and that we get them all back in good condition. So Audrey, can you put together a quick app for that? And I said, okay, let's see if I can get Power Apps to help me build that app. So I'm just going to type what I want it to do. I want an app that tracks bike loans and returns. Simple enough. I could also use these up here as a starting point, but I'm going to go ahead and stick with what I've been asked to do, and I'm going to click go. And now the Copilot is going to start by setting up my data, which is normally what we do when we build apps. We start by getting our data dependencies together, and then we build our app on top of that. So I love that it's going to help me build this app. So as soon as it finishes, it starts by showing me the table it thinks it would be good for this. And if I'm going to zoom out a little bit here so you can see more of my screen. And you can see that it has a table with an ID, the name of the person, a bike model, a loan date, a return date, and a status. And I guess the only thing that bothers me here is that the bike model, even though they have some great examples, it looks like it's a single line of text. So I'm going to click View Column, and sure enough, it's a single line of text. Now, I'm not going to try and edit it here. As you can see, I really can't because this is all grayed out. But not a problem. I'm going to keep working with my Copilot because this is really just a draft. And we're kind of getting that draft solidified before we actually make the table. All right. So I would like that to be a choice list. And I guess I want the choices to be things like this. So I'm going to say, make bike model, and I'm using the I guess the spelling and the capitalization of the column that is here. That way it can recognize that's the column there. And I'm going to say a choice list, and the choices are going to be mountain bike, road bike, hybrid bike, and I guess that's enough. Okay, so make bike model a choice list, okay? And so then I gave it the choices, mountain bike, road bike, and hybrid bike. And I love that it gave me some ideas. And those are actually the type of bikes we're going to have, so no problem. So then I'm going to click send. So now you can see what you typed up here that's talking to the Copilot, and it's working on it. Let's see what it does. Is it smart enough? And sure enough, look at the icon for the column. Already we can tell it is a choice column. And if we now view the column, we'll see that it's mountain bike, road bike, and hybrid bike. Okay, so it's getting better. Let's look at this status column. Pending and returned is what we have. So I do want to add one more to the status column. Even though this one is a choice, I'm going to add one that's called claim required. And this means that there was some damage to the bike and it's not really returned. It's not active again. There's a claim related to it. So I'm going to say change the choices for the status column to pending, learn how to spell, returned, and claim pending. Okay, and we'll run that. Basically, we're just making a change to the choices available in the status column. All right, and now you can see that it's still a choice column, and it goes ahead and uses the choices so that you can see kind of what that would look like. But if I view the column, you'll see that I have that there. Now, do I need any other columns? Now, I could choose to take columns away as well, but I think I'm going to leave it at this. This looks good, actually. You know what? I'll add one more thing, and that is instead of ID, I might do VIN number, or I might leave ID. So you can remove a column just by saying delete column, right? So you can say delete the ID column. And I know some of you are like, why would you want to do that if you want to keep an identifier? But it will make sure you have an identifier column, okay? So I'll just put delete the ID column and press go. And you'll see that it will delete the column. All right, and I'm going to add a column. So let's add a column for notes called comments. Okay, let's see how it does on that. I kind of got real human on that one. And let's see if it adds a column for notes called comments. Okay, and then if we scroll over, you'll see that now we have the columns column, and it just went ahead and put some Latin text in there for us to approve it. So basically this draft is now exactly what I want. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of think like a human. Just go ahead and create the app. Now do note that Copilot is smart enough to know that I can't create the app without having the table. So it's going to do both of those things. It's going to create the table in Dataverse in the same environment, and it's also going to create the app. So let's see what happens. I love it when Power Apps start doing work for me, and here it's doing a lot of work. It's setting up a database table, it's setting up screens in an app, it's setting up the connection to the table in the app, and it's setting up the UI for typical things like view, add, and edit. So let's see what we ended up with here. I'm very excited about this. So we've got our circle of hope spinning, and we're just going to give it another minute. And wow, look at this. I can preview the app right away, which let's go ahead and do that. Let's just preview the app, and you can see it's a fully functional, well designed. This looks a little bit better than what I'm accustomed to, say from like the apps from SharePoint. This is a fully functional, what do you call it, responsive app. It has all of the people who have borrowed apps and the information about when they borrowed it. And then when you click on one of them, you can see when they borrowed it and when they took it, when they borrowed it and when they took it back, you know. So this one is returned, all right. And I can edit these just by clicking on the edit button. And let's change this to claim pending. And now that change has happened in the database for Mary. So really cool. I'm going to go ahead and close this test. We'll close, accept that change and close this test, and just show you in here you have all of the typical app controls, your center screen where you can work, but also if we open up some of the pieces of this new app, you'll see that it has all of the screen containers set up for responsiveness automatically for us. How many of you have been planning to learn how to use containers? Well, here you go. It did it for you, right? And then what we can do from here is save this app and publish it. So we can also make other changes just like any other Power Apps app. At this point, we can customize it further in the way that is best for us. For instance, I could highlight this icon for editing, and I could change the icon just by using my familiar controls, either here or on the property panel, where I can change the icon to anything that I want it to be. And so you can work with these apps just like you're used to working with it, but look how much easier this gets. Instead of the trash can, let's just do, for instance, an eraser, right? So you can just go ahead and edit your apps any way you want using the familiar properties interface or using your functions as you are accustomed to. And then I'm going to save, and I'm going to publish this app right here, and I'm just going to put a description. Manages the loans and returns for bikes, and then I will publish that version. Now, after we publish, let's go look at what Power Apps did from a Dataverse perspective on this, okay? So we've got this saved and published, and now I'm going to hit back and leave here, and we're going to go look at apps, and you'll see that that app was just created 7 seconds ago. It's working just great. And then we'll go into tables here, and you'll see here is the table. And that table is created in the environment where I was working, and it's been given a publisher prefix. And if I open this up, you can see all of the data associated with that table shown here to me in the table hub. And I can go ahead and edit directly in the table hub, just like we edit in Excel, and change these words, right, to anything I want. Okay, and then just clicking out of a cell saves. So complete management of both the app and the table working with Copilot. Now, I will tell you there's one error you might get, and I want to see if I can replicate that error for you right now. So I'm going to try and create an app managing microphone, can't spell, microphone loans and returns. So this time we're going to do microphones, and basically I'm going to let this run. And in this time, since I've already shown you how you can revise, delete, add new columns, we're going to actually skip that and go to create the app right away. So pretend we've already done the whole check the app. Do we like it? We do. Let's click app. So we've checked our draft, and we're happy with the table structure that it drafted for us. And now we clicked on create an app. Now, what you're going to notice is I am in Audrie Gordon's environment. And before we look at this error, I'm going to just show you that I am in Audrie Gordon's environment. This is a developer environment, and this particular tenant that I'm in does not have, the developer does not have Dataverse connectors enabled for dev environments. So because of that, you will get a connector app error. And if you, it'll say unable to create the app. So just to explain it to you, it says one or more errors occurred and the connection cannot be added due to policy violation. Whenever you see policy violation, that means there's a DLP policy preventing it from continuing. So in order to build this app, it has to add the Dataverse connector. But the policy for this dev environment does not allow for the connector to be added. Now, what's interesting about this error is that if you go back to your table view and you look down at your tables, you will have the table. As long as you have a database, you will have the table. And the table will have all the columns that you had agreed to in your draft with Copilot. But where the problem occurred is during the creation of the app where you got that policy error, okay? Because Power Apps was unable to add the connector as a human would have been unable to add the connector. So I just want to let you know about that error for those of you that may be in certain environments where the DLP policies for certain environments are different or don't allow for the Dataverse connector. So I'll continue to share some of the new things that I've even been learning when I came back from my short leave, and I'll ask you to check it out and try it out yourself. I'll be talking to you soon. Happy power apping.